The Asphalt Art program is administered by FC Moves, the Transportation Planning Department of the City of Fort Collins. The Paint Pot program is a grant-funded asphalt art project made possible through a grant from the National Association of City Transportation Officials. With special thanks to Bike Fort Collins and Jillian Betterly for programmatic support. This storytelling project is a collection of voices from the neighborhoods where the asphalt murals were painted. Several of the voices are Indigenous, Hispanic, and Latino community members with long generational ties to the neighborhoods called Tres Colonias, or the Spanish colonies. This episode features Brian Barrett, the artist of the circles on Roosevelt and Maple.
Yeah, my name is Brian Barrett, and I'm the artist responsible for the circles at Roosevelt and Maple. I've lived in this neighborhood just up the street, maybe even a quarter mile. I've been here for 8 years. I've been in Fort Collins for a little over 10. My daughters go to this school, so this is the neighborhood that we walk when we participate in school activities. I am a tattoo artist of the past 23 years. I've been an artist my whole life, experimenting with all different types of mediums and all different types of subject matter. This is the first time I've ever painted or designed anything for a road or asphalt, so this has definitely been a fun project. I guess the psychology behind the art, understanding not to go overboard with detail and not to go overboard with trying to get a message across, but just to have fun. And to have fun, sometimes you just need to keep it simple. And we're working with 5 colors. 2 of them are complementing, or 4 of them are complementing. And it's circles, so it's just really easy to achieve. The different shapes, they create a mosaic of color that, it's like a rainbow, except more, I guess, more mosaic. Yeah. So I guess I really was thinking of what would be fun for other people, not necessarily what would be fun for me. Of course, it is fun for me, but making it so that you could fill in a shape with paint and not have to worry about doing it just right. And that's what all these kids are having fun doing. Part of the design and keeping it simple, I feel that the circles are the simple shape to work with, because you just need 2 people to create them usually, one person to hold the string, another person to walk around to create the circle. With this particular endeavor, started off using the string, and then I guess to save time I went and freehanded the other half, so you're going to be able to see the variation from perfect circle to circle with character. It really does brighten up this intersection, and as you cross this intersection, it kind of makes your day a little happier, because you see something that you maybe not had been expecting. With the tattoos that I do are very wildlife based, very nature based. So Colorado in general is very nature based, but Fort Collins, most everybody loves the outdoors, loves nature. So with that kind of art and tattooing has been very beneficial to be here. Something like this, it's just very welcoming artistically. You see all sorts of different art around town, a lot of colorful stuff, and it really does, it livens up somebody's day, I believe that it can add a lot to the city. One, I'm not sure how big of an impact it would have, but what are they? The heat. It'll change the heat of the surface, because black absorbs more, so this particular area won't be as hot as this area. So seeing that, I would love to see the town take on more projects. I feel like it's in its infancy, where they're just trying to see how to operate and how to get this to work smoothly, so that we can work on it later on. I personally have had ideas of, like this is on the city park bike path that runs all the way down pretty much to Harmony, I believe. But I had a thought, if this was a feature along that particular bike path, people would be able to follow the path and understand where the path is a lot better if they're following the artwork. So that was one of my ideas. Another one is just like trying to have art in places that would liven up an area. I mentioned earlier, I believe Roosevelt and Laurel, there's a traffic circle with a circle island that would make a beautiful spot for a street canvas. So I feel if the city opens this up more with more projects, that I definitely will apply and just look around the city for places to put some art. Yeah, so like just imagine every intersection. Sometimes I've seen people from out of town that are trying to follow or navigate these the bike paths, and sometimes it can get a little confusing, even though we have great signage. But if they knew that, we'll just follow the paint, or we'll follow the circles, if we would, they'd be able to take the entire path, and that would be fun for somebody out of town to take the path just to admire the art. Yeah, this is a great project. I'm really happy to be a part of it. I have 5 kids altogether, but 2 younger ones that participate in Poudre School District. I'm more of a recluse. I keep to myself for the most part, but I know quite a few people on the street. My daughters are friends with quite a few of the families here, so I guess I feel like there are people that hear about this and specifically will come over here just to check it out because they hear about it and haven't seen anything like this. It's shocking for people that I've seen as they come up and they don't realize it's here, and they're like, oh my goodness, when did this happen? And they're blown away by how cool it is that this has happened here. And a lot of people have voiced how cool it is that Fort Collins has started doing stuff like this. So I guess it's just changed it from, I don't know, the dull black gray street surface to beautiful, colorful street surface. One of the reasons I moved to Fort Collins was I like the art community. There seems to be a pretty good art community here. Aside from doing the macabre, there really isn't any difference, I suppose. But it's very welcoming. At one point, we talked about maybe having like a block party and using the street mural as the dance floor, and just kind of blocking it off to build the community. From what I've seen, this community is pretty strong. They have a lot of friendly people, and yeah, it's a great place to raise kids, I feel, and I feel safe, and again with the art, it livens it up even more. Being this close to City Park, it's always crazy on the 4th of July or Tour de Fat. It's, traffic is all the way down here. People will park all the way out here just to go participate over there. So there's a couple times during the year where it just gets almost festival-like. It's not a bad thing, but it's fun to see that our neighborhood is able to accommodate. And yeah, Halloween, my girls love Halloween around here. But yeah, I love this neighborhood. I don't really have anything to complain about other than the sidewalks being too narrow, but that's nothing to worry about. When I'm walking my daughters to school, I have one hand in front, one hand behind. We're walking like single file holding hands, and it's just like, man, a proper sidewalk, I'd be able to walk with both of them and have somebody walk past me. So it's all in the design, and these were designed before we had the mindset of pedestrians and mobility. In 2011, I rode a bicycle across the country from New York to California. After I got done, I had driven my Toyota Tacoma around a little bit, and then got T-boned and totaled it. After I got my insurance money for it, I realized like I have to start the whole process over of making the payments and doing the whole car shopping, and it just wasn't sounding like fun for me. And I realized if I can ride across the country, I surely can ride across town. So I just decided not to buy a car again. And at first it's intimidating. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to make it? How am I going to get groceries or any of the questions? But I feel like once you're in it and once you're doing it, it becomes routine, and you find all the fun little secrets and all the fun little, I guess, hacks that you can take advantage of. Wintertime has always been when people question my motive of being car free, but that's, you are your own heat source. So as soon as you start pedaling in the cold, you warm right up, and it's not really a big issue. Financially, it's been great because I don't have to worry about all the car expenses, or, oh no, my car just lost its radiator, now I have to spend lots of money getting a new one. I don't have to worry about that. So that's been a really big plus. Also utilizing public transportation, showing my daughters that there's other ways to get around than what the norm tells us that there are. So we use the bus a lot, Uber and Lyft, but for the most part we just ride everywhere. And I have a cargo bike, so my daughters can actually ride on the bike, because that's another thing. Being car-free with children, if you force a child to ride their bike as a mode of transportation, they're going to grow up and possibly resent bicycles. So I make it possible that if they ever need a break, or if they're tired legs or whatever, they can just hop on my bicycle and I'll do the work for them. But yeah, it's been amazing to be car free. It's not for everybody. There's I guess different levels of comfortability with everybody. For me, it works to be completely car free, but for somebody that may be thinking about trying to reduce their vehicle usage, their motor vehicle usage, maybe to be car-less, which would be you drive into town with your car and then you park it and then you just ride your bicycle around to do your errands, reducing the amount of drive time and reducing the amount of traffic and congestion on the streets for motor vehicles. And plus it's just fun to see a different aspect of the city. You take these bike trails and you can see things that you don't normally see when you go down like College Ave. And that's a funny thing, being car free. I don't see College Ave. So anytime I'm down College, I'm like, wow, this is a new part for me. So it's really, it's a different perspective on where we live. And that's usually a fun way to show people when they're visiting town too. Most people are like, hey, let's drive over here or let's drive over there. But when you have to actually ride a bicycle, you get to see the fun little things like the water park down here on the Poudre River, for example. You just ride up to that and hang out. Whereas in a car, you pass it and you're like, oh, where do I park? So it's just, I guess the mindset, and if you have the mindset for it, it works great. A cargo bike, my bike can handle 600 pounds, and then the trailer I use can handle 400, so I can literally ride about a ton. But yeah, I have a bike for every purpose, whether it be road, gravel, mountain bike, camping, bike packing, and then cargo bikes. So I even have a unicycle, but I've yet to learn how to ride it. And I play hockey and I inline skate all over the place, so that's another fun one. I guess lesson learned today: make sure you have enough paint. That's a good one. I feel like to be aware of your surroundings and kind of understand the neighborhood in a way. Like, you might be in a neighborhood that has more elderly people, that might be a little bit of a different thought process behind the design, rather than being all colorful and circular. You might have to think of a different subject matter. One of my philosophies is I like to follow anyways is there's no such thing as bad weather. There's only variations of good weather. So, like last year, we were doing this and it was like 40 degrees out, and it was still a fun time. Today, it's like 90 almost, and it's equally as fun. So, I guess just kind of be prepared for the weather. I can't think of anything else that I would be able to pass on that an artist wouldn't kind of gather, or if they're not an artist, maybe looking to their community for inspiration.